I'm Stephen Raymond Asim, a native of Cross River State, born into a family of 4 and being the second child, and also as a mixed breed, let me just put it that way. Mom is from Lagos, dad is from Cross River. So I'm just my simple self, tend to associate little but do more in the society, and went to school, primary, secondary, the tertiary level, Yaba Tech to be precise, and then studied applied art. Finished 1998, 2000. Then started my, my passion has been a fashion designer. That's fear about me. Well, that's every question I attempt to every now and then. It's a child brain thing, and I would say I'm so lucky to be in the state of personality, because in the family where my mom comes from, it's always a female trait, a female culture. They were all seamstress, and they love doing the crafty stuff. And then also my mom sews, our mother sews, aunties and all that. But in the gene of the generation, the family generation and trace, it happens to be that I just had the flair as a child back then, being also a creative-minded person, a very curious person. I started, doing little things with mommy, trying to get to know why she does this or what she does this, and then even create my own thing myself, and then tend to work with myself and see how I could go there. And there I started with PCs, sewing dollies, doing things for my kid sister who was the last born in the house, and also making clothes for her everyday uses and also events and stuff like that. So I stepped into the shoe of being a dressmaker and doing also needlework and all that crafty stuff, beading, matting, all that. So, incorporated with my person, being a creative-minded person also, I had to dabble into the creative aspect, which drawing and all that. So it inspires me till the moment I even had to use it as part of my means of sending myself to school, also supporting myself in my schools stuffs, and till my tertiary education, which I came out as a fine artist but not a designer, because I never studied fashion on its own. It's a talent, it's a nature, it's natural, it's a gift from God to me, because I happen to be the only male family who pick up that trace in the family in the entire generation till my present state. So that's just how I became. And then forming the brand started at the, this year is making it 2020. I officially launched the brand, because it was officially launched in May 1st, 2000. There at French Cultural Alliance Française, the French Cultural Center in Ikoyi back then, in the days, which there came to limelight. I had to put my first collection online, appear on New Dawn on 10 with Fumi Yoda back then in those days, which Susan Ayo was a fashion chronicist who interviewed me just like today also. So there and there I kicked off. Steve Ray was giving birth to, and here I am today. Wow, challenges. Well, to me, life is all about challenges, and then also you have to take risks, because actually looking at it, what really prompted me into the industry, what made me the curiosity in me really pushed, had that passion. But I see my mom do things yet, and she does a lot of things. They were going by the books, the catalogs back then. They used to have Simplicity's catalog and all that, which she has, I have inherited from her. But in their days, it used to be by the books. But in her days, things started becoming to change. Technology was now, being in place, and which you have to think within yourself, be able to create. Now, coming to it, I felt the industry was a platform where once you have the creativity in you, you have what it takes to be that person you feel you could be, being called a brand or being a fashion designer or a stylist or whichever talent you've got in you. Now, my curiosity was like asking my mom, I see every designer doing fashion show, but I was not really pleased with what they showcase, because most of the time I see them do those things. They are showcasing boo stuff with Idibia, which is our culture. I believe in that, but I wanted to see more creativity, going out of the box, seeing things that are more artifact-like in clothing. So I wasn't seeing it, and I told my mom, why can't she just push herself out there and then do those things she does? Let people see that she has this content in her. But being, a reserved woman, and she wasn't the socialized type. She was always an housewife kind of woman, and even up till date. So I looked into it. I said, okay, fine. By myself, I think I'll have to know what makes a designer, and what makes a tailor. I just wanted to, differentiate between that. So when I got into that, first show I saw was 2002, where Lexi Mojo came up with this Nigerian fashion TV show competition for designers in the industry. Where I was so curious. Then that year I had to buy a ticket to go watch at the Museum Center. While being there, I saw a lot of designers, a lot of celebrities, saw a lot of people, and they were so, busy, and I just stood in very, curious and wanted to see what really would go on, and saw the wrong way. So I sat down where I would be able to view everything and see what really makes a designer, and there. But the challenge is, it's very, it's very difficult to say, because we all have different perspectives in life. In my own experience, it has been very, very awkward. It has been very, very painful, but at the same time, enjoyable, because out of all those pains, I could vividly remember just the less of betrayal I had than, the hurts have gained, because with that, I'm strong, I'm bold enough now to tell the industry what it means to be a designer or being a tailor. There is no much difference than you're going out of the box and being able to. When it comes to financial strain, well, everybody goes through that also, but the issue is the industry is not really, really favoring the designers here, people like me, and even with the upcoming ones, I wonder how their future is going to be. Because if I'm to sit down and then start telling the story of how far I've come, what I went through, and all that, it will take me a whole day to start, writing a book or even creating a movie with it. So I just have to break things down. With all those, hurdles and, let down, being washed down, being looked down on, not being accepted, or not being in tune with some cliques and grades of societal, cultural, association, which was with major problems I had. So I had to just keep myself in my terrain where I started from. I started from my mom's home, from my grandparents' home in Shita. I grew up in Rabiatu Thompson Crescent, where I started, and that was where my first limelight came up. With my first job I did, the bridal, after my launching in 2000, the first bridal dress I made for Dr. Ini. She is the daughter of Hafiz Kitchen back then in Surulere on Ulufemi. So I did the bridal stuff, handled the old bridesmaids stuff, and her friends. They are medical student back then in Lutz. So all those period was my lamplight coming out into and that was the year Agbani won the Miss World. So with my first experience making the wedding dress for her went viral on Ovation magazine. So that was how the open door came. But aside from that, Then the things I did for a video shoot for the African Queen video, which was a two-face thing, was the same period of time. Those things just came up to me. So it was just like an eye-opening thing for me to, like, know my strength and be able to define my worth and then my capacity in the industry, what I could do and what I could not do, or the angle I should be focused on and leave the other angles. So which I took that step. The challenges were just financing and being able to reach people who would even support you, or even the industry itself having a regulatory body that would give you that backup, just like the music industry is doing, or which all those things were just flaws that was most major challenges had experienced all through. Well, which is my major vision for this year since the COVID. It touches me basically, and I wish I could do more. I wish I have the finance to do, because a lot of youth are out there yearning for the same yearn I cried since my life. I started this at 8 years old, not official age. 8 years old, I picked needle and thread in stitching. In my possession, my fight and then my struggle now is to make sure that we could, have a bylaw or a support from the House of Rep to support the fashion industry at large, because I believe there is a huge lot of opportunities to be tapped from. But because of the condition and situation of things in our society today, which I don't want to go political because I'm not a political person. I know what politics is all about, but I don't tend to dabble into it. I just want to be me, humanitarian, and then playing at art. So it's more like a missionary thing for me to do, even with my position in the industry where I belong, fashion. I would want to see an industry where designers' outfits could be sold as equivalent to what the international market does. I would want to see where designers are being given credit, because I've faced that pain from Two-Face Idibia, where he denied me of the collections I did to costume his African Queen till present day. And thank God it's 2020. For heaven's sake, I just had a shoot with Jegede with the same costume he wore, that he lied to the world on Channel OTV on the same spotlight like this that I am now, that those costumes were costumed by an international designer. At the end of the day, I heard by his management mentioning some top brand name here in Lagos. I was overwhelmed, which I tried on my own bit to pursue that statement and make a correction from, but it has never been to life present till this present state. Yvonne Jegede came and we just had a shoot together to prove that story to the world, that what Steve Ray has been saying, that so many papers have written about, that there was no response, no hot, but it's just something we should talk about sometimes in life, against all odds. Even I can recall yesterday while I was chatting with Yvonne, I was so happy. Yesterday was her birthday. Sister, let me use this period to congratulate you, and I so much love you, appreciate you for coming back into my life and telling this story to the world once again. And this is the end of my grief towards Two-Face Idibia and Hani Macaulay, who was your friend, and we all were all friends, joining together in the whole of Surulere, Butemeta, Festac, and all that back 2000, 2001, 2002. Till the moment they had that shoot, 2003 to 2004. I so much love you. God bless you, and more blessing coming your way. And I hope you won't forget me at this peak. Just carry me along. I'm all for you. So having the shoot with Yvonne Jegede made me now waking up and tell God that, God, I thank you for all my tears all these days is back to life. And I said something to Annie, to Yvonne. I said, Yvonne, if there is nothing else you've done for me, it's not about the money, it's not about whatever material thing that is involved, but for you coming out to tell the story that I expected Two-Face himself or Honey, who came pleading on behalf of Two-Face, her husband, the same way would have come out and make this correction for 20 good years. For heaven's sakes, is what giving God the glory. I never believed this could come to pass. Just a week now. So I thank God for everything, and glory be to God. It's all over. But I pray that we all see, see the best in life. So that was in 2004 when he was being signed with Kenny's. That video made Kenny's signed him up for that. Annie was his backbone because she used to model for me. She modeled with me. She has gone for beauty pageants, which I have to costume her. That was how our relationship started. Queen of All Nations, that was the last pageant she had. Before getting acquainted with Two-Face, I got to know. And the costumes worn by the three of them, that's Yvonne, Annie, and Dolakbo, the tall lady. I still have some of the costume, much intact. And that's why Yvonne has to pick on the one she wore for the shoot or for the video shoot. And to create this statement we have presently. For Two-Face, well, it was a shock, and then let me say that was my eye-opening in the industry that people deny a lot. I got to learn that. And the same thing happened to me even when I competed in the Nigerian fashion show, that's the Lexi I2. The old politics played and all the gamble and all that. So I just don't want to go back to those pains. What I'm looking at now is the future. What can I put up there now? So for the young generation to have my legacy, that this is what this man did to them or for them, and the life he has laid for the industry to be in the right setting. Because for someone like Two-Face to have that stardom with that video work, which I interpreted that script. Uzodinma Okpeche did the shoot of that musical video at Debin Studio in Aguda, back then, Brown Road. So when all those pictures came up, my expectation was he could not even pay. I even want to bear it out. He could not even pay, and he was begging. It's okay, fine, but whatever he has to do, the best he could do for me is to tell the world, oh, so branded me. But my annoyance was now hearing him calling other people. So that was where I gave it up. And those are part of my pains. Those are part of things I have been grieving on, even though papers have been on it. So many people. Telegraph wrote about it. The first lady who wrote about it was on PM newspaper back then. I think her name was Toyin. And national dailies did their bits trying to make it known. But there was no based on the factors around the industry. The industry. So it really gave me that fear that it wasn't a fight or it wasn't a race I could dabble into, being that I was just new in the industry, tending to know one or two persons, and the few people or the only person that could give me that limelight and then that support while growing up, and that childish or childhood fireborn passion thing was Monami. That's Larry K. Ojomo. Then I used to relate with him every now and then, till the moment also I started working with few faces, building up models like Boma Martins, building up so many of them there. Even had beauty queens wearing my outfit and winning so many pageants without even coming back with it. After first five must definitely appear with Steve Ray or even the winner. So my first MPGN in Nigeria was Biola Bashorun, who represented Lagos State in 2006. So with all these ladies, including Linda Keji, yes, who also were girls that I was, Then we talk of Idibia, we talk of Theodora, I talk quite a number. Then my next beauty queen, who has been reigning for like 4, if not more than 4 or 5 years, who was the first Benue girl who won the Miss Nigeria 2004 by the name Ene Lawani. So all these ladies have really, impacted my creativity on them, and they are how they're making, living large. But that doesn't stop me. So that made me realize myself as a kingmaker, and there I had to live with my pains, but just be myself. He didn't even pay. I did the styling, I did all the makeup, everything. I did all the whole thing. My wears were what he wear. Things he used were things. Come on, I can't just say much, but just to say those. I was there at the studio till it was a Monday. It was on a Monday morning. We had the shoot. I was there Monday morning, even till where we went to pick the bike on Ogusoya down to Brown Road. Myself and the director, that's Uzodi Malkbeche, we were there at Debbie's studio till 12:30 late night. And after done, what I expected of Honey was to push Two-Face just to say, oh, styled by Steve Ray, which never came. And even Two-Face himself never for once said it. But why I'm really, really happy at this stage is because what? No matter what you do in life, the truth will always tell itself. Because I've shouted a lot, but people keep saying, why am I beefing? Why am I talking about him? But I'm not. I'm only yearning and crying for something that is not right. There are other people who have done a lot. I've worked with top first-class citizens in Nigeria, which I don't want to mention names, and I've known what I've gained and what I've lost from them, the pains, the agony they've given to me in my services to them, being who I am, a top designer in this country. But that doesn't change any fact. What I know is it's only God that blesses, not human. As human, we only, interact within ourselves because people make the world go round. So as the world goes round, as I touch you is what you touch the next person. So whichever way you tend to touch people is what they will remember you for. So that's what I really, count for. Not that the material stuff I lost or I gained from them really matters to me, because I know when I go today, it's all over. So what else do I need to fight for than just telling me or appreciating my effort, even standing up for you when you needed me, at the peak you needed me. That was what I was expecting for him. That's all. Well, to be frankly speaking, in the industry, some little, wishy-washy attitude goes on, sarcasm and all that, bitchy, and which I don't gloat over as such. So I believe it was on his own opinion. It was his decision. It was his choice. Whoever pushes you to do or act on something, you should be able to have a mindset of yours whereby you listen to people, but you don't just take action on what they say, because it might not even be right for you. Another man's meat is another man's poison. So I can't really pinpoint what really made him. And if at all anything could, the wife would have been the person to put him in the right sense that, no, remember we promised this man so thing. We could not pay. How much was the money? If you want to hear, you will like that. But back then it was a big money though. Oh, quite distance. The last time I met Annie, I saw Two-Face, or I met Annie, was at I will call her my boss, because I've worked with her for 9 years. Since 2009, I've been working with her in the Calabar Carnival every year. And that's the person of Senator Florence Itagiwa. I work with her band, Seagull Band in Calabar every year. I started the band. I started working with her 2009. That was the first year she won the carnival back to back. I'm proud to say this back to back because this camera. So if I'm lying, definitely the nature can testify to that. That was the first year I worked with her. But so later year in 2010, there about, I guess 10, 11, the daughter wanted to get married. So at the wedding reception, that was where I saw Annie after the video shoot of the African Queen. I saw her. We related, we exchanged contact. And since then, if I call, she tends to snub, act as if she's too busy. The Uncle Steve became nobody. So I let go. But due to the circumstances in the society, and we all know ourselves, let's tell ourselves the truth. So, it can set us free. One thing I do for myself, and my life philosophy, is telling myself the truth before I can tell any other person. So if I don't tell myself the truth, definitely I'm going to face my rod. But I tell myself the truth before I make a move. So if it's not working for me, you won't find me there. I won't even blink my eyes. So in that nature, when I saw Annie, tried to relate with her as a sister. She's from Akwa Ibom, I'm from Cross River. And we relate more back then. Even all our friends I could remember, they all come to my home then with my cousins, where they go to movie rehearsal at Music Africa in Ilara, around Surulere. All those places where they go for rehearsal, go for casting, auditioning for movies and all that. I would just be laughing at them. But alongside, she was now, merging modeling with acting career, which she was pursuing. So that's just it. Since then, we've never been related. And I'm sure they must have seen a lot of the press release, even though it's not my doing. Press has been pursuing me, to interview me on, but I'm not. I love being at the back scene. I just don't enjoy much of I love being free with people. I love the commonness. It might be very weird to some people to say, how would this kind of person be relating with people on the street? He should be seeing himself, or he doesn't know it's what. My what in life is my humanitarian nature, which I need to meet those people who need my person. Though they hurt me, but I enjoy being hurt by them because I make sure I give a life and then turn back and say, I've saved something. I've saved someone, I've done something, and that's my happiness, and that's why I'm happy. Just like what I said to Yvonne yesterday on her birthday on WhatsApp. I told her every grief in my heart is all over, and I give God the glory because what? If as a child brain, my first experience with an artist of such persons, and I could take without thinking twice, my childhood effort to support your dream when you were so much in taste of it. If I had denied that moment, nothing would have changed. Nothing would have even added to me. Nothing. But taking that time out, see him as a brother, even in some part of his lyrics. So I tend to see him as a betrayer. But it's all over since Yvonne came out now to prove this to the world, because I believe what the social media now are on fire, seeing that costume back on her, and she's still fitting into it the same way it was in the musical video, and she's still the same, but the only change is just the age. She was 20 when she did that shoot. Now she's a grown-up woman. I'm so proud of her. She made me proud. If this would have come from Annie, it would have been the best for me. But since it's coming from Yvonne, I so much, and I pray God should bless her the more. That's